What's up, YouTube? How's everybody out there doing? Everybody warming their hands in the fire here? Get some marshmallows out? What's up? Let's see, we got a bunch of stuff in the chat here already. So a lot of you took the test already, and a lot of you still have to take it. We defeated the beast. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. This is really an ordeal for you guys this year. It's always an ordeal, but this year really takes the cake. Really takes the cake. So how did you guys think you did? I'm getting some feedback from my own students and across the internet, and it seems like it was a reasonably fair test. Does that seem accurate? And I like the fact that you say you defeated the beast. That's a good way to express it. Any thoughts? Anybody have any deep thoughts to throw out there? I know I'm exhausted, and I didn't even take the test. So you guys should, like I was saying yesterday, you guys should feel really proud of yourself. And you kind of accomplished a nice milestone here. It doesn't define who you are, but it is part of your characters now. So this is something you can say. A very strong foothold in ELA. There you go. That's great. Yeah, I'm kind of, the feedback I seem to be getting, and it's hard to always tell if it's accurate, but everybody seemed to think that math was easier than they would have expected it, and that there was some tough passages, and at least boring passages. For math, it was every person for themselves, yeah. But pretty much everybody I've spoken to, and I've spoken to maybe about 100 people right now, everybody seems to be saying that ELA was harder than the math. And a few people are saying the math was absolutely, completely easy. I don't know. Why so? The test was too easy? ELA was pretty interesting. Why? Oh, the passages were not boring? My SHSAT was postponed. Why? Did you have a school that had a COVID threat? Because you don't do actual content. All right, that sounds ridiculous. I actually went over actual handbooks, so how do I not do actual content? I have hundreds of hours of videos. Look, Sharada, if you're just going to be here to heckle me, then I'm going to block you on my channel. I helped you privately and other stuff like that. So what you're saying here is ridiculous. All right, you're gone. What about you other guys? How did you find the SHSAT? We're talking about the SHSAT right now. We're not talking about me. Let's see what we have earlier in the chat here. Well, you guys were asking where it is. I had a kid to tutor as well. YouTube wouldn't let me into the stream initially. So how did you guys do? My SHSAT is torn. What does that mean? The SHSAT was decent. Some students are saying like the math was absolutely easy. Part of it at least was. Yeah, when is your alternate date? Is it going to be February 10th or another date? Because your whole school was closed, I guess. I have mine on Saturday. So you're a grade 9 student or you have an IEP? I heard from at least one student that their time got extended. Was the SHSAT only 3 hours today or was it longer? Well, I'm hearing some kids thought the ELA was hard, at least parts of it. And some kids who kind of didn't study hard enough had some problems with it too, I believe. But most of the feedback I'm getting is that the kids kind of felt it was a reasonable test. Oh, Roberta, you have an IEP and you took it today? I thought those were not going to happen until the second date. I got like 2 to 3 minutes extra. What? As I understand it, one school the teacher told them they all had 4 hours. So I'm not exactly sure why. Are the tests different if you have an IEP? No, the test is exactly the same. However, you get double time. So instead of 3 hours, you get about 6 hours. I think it's actually 5.5. I'm not exactly sure of the exact count. As well as you have a 504. If you need to use other capabilities like some other technology, sometimes they allow you to do that as well. But are the tests different if you have an IEP? No, only the time. The time frame. Some kids with an IEP during class are allowed to have people like read questions for them and stuff like that, but that's not allowed on the SHSAT because it's considered interfering with the your aptitude or whatever. So it's cool. There's a little argument that everybody should have extra time. That's how the state test works. The state test used to be timed, and now they're basically untimed until you get thrown out of the building on the school day that you're taking the test. I also understand that the IEP kids are going to get a break at the 3-hour point and then 90 minutes again after that. A timed break so that everybody has it all together. Is ELA in the 9th vastly different from the 8th, or is it only more complex? I would say, it has more geometry and so on. The feedback I get, and it's hard to interpret because none of us ever actually get to see the real test, but the feedback I kind of get for grade 9 is that the ELA, enough people think it's exactly the same. And the difference seems to be the math. And I get anywhere from 25% to like 45% of the questions are different. So it's a little bit being different and more complex at the same time. I had 6 hours. You had 6 hours today? For my test, I thought it was very similar to the prep test online. Which prep test online? For ELA, like 3.5 hours. Okay. Also, generally speaking, how many kids were in your rooms, everybody? Was there only like 10 kids per room or something like that? Was it held in classrooms? Or did they bring it to the cafeteria or what? And like how many kids in your whole school took it for each of you? Because your middle schools were all closed otherwise. So the only kids who went in today were taking the test. So some of them, if there was like only maybe 10 kids in the whole school, they may have had you take it in the cafeteria. I'm not sure how they did that. Also, was there sanitizer in each room and things like that? Oh, okay, okay. So like the Dream program or whatever? 10 spaced out. In a classroom or in the cafeteria or an auditorium? What is the math portion mainly about? I was the only student in the room. Well, that's kind of good and bad at the same time. Was there anything they didn't let you guys have that you thought you should have had? Like your watches, or did they any proctors let you guys drink water or eat a snack during the test? Yes, I am in Dream. Okay, I don't like my math teacher. He teaches bad. I am also in Dream, so I didn't really learn from them. Okay. Yeah, Sherrod earlier is also in Dream, so I don't know why he was complaining. He was trying to get free tutoring out of me, so I think that was what his complaint was. So 10 people per classroom. Okay, that sounds about what I was figuring it was going to be. And did they let you drink water and have snacks and so on? I wore my mechanical watch. Okay. Was there anything unusual besides having to wear masks relating to COVID? No snacks, but they let us put our bags next to us and keep the phones in the bag. Okay. Only water. Okay. So you guys probably know that uh, they're not going to issue any grades. I had breaks but didn't use them. Okay. Uh, there's, I think the last SHSAT's going to be on February 10th because there's one Saturday, this Saturday, then the Sunday after it, I think on February 7th, and then finally the Wednesday on February 10th. And schools, I believe, have 2 days to express mail their the test results that they have to the testing center. So, all right. Um, and then it's going to take a couple of months. So often they release the results during about mid March. Okay. Last year, I think they did it during April. So, and the DOE is on record a couple of weeks ago saying that they would probably they're only going to commit to saying that they're going to tell you your grade by the end of the school year. So that means like June 28th or whatever. So that's not really good. So probably it means you're going to get your grades during your high school report during April. Now your SHSAT schools and your specialized school and your addition school, it all comes under one report. So you're going to get a letter at some point sent to your home and also given to your guidance counselor and also on my schools. saying your regular high school results, your specialized high school results, and your additional school results all together in one letter. Let's see, what does Omar say here? I may have missed your earlier message, Omar. It's just more complex if you're doing it in ninth. Yeah, there's different questions for sure because there's additional topics on the ninth grade, but consider the SHSAT 9 as a superset of SHSAT 8. So it includes all of SHSAT 8 plus some additional stuff. And they do the additional stuff by removing some questions and adding on a few other ones. So, for instance, there might be more kind of raw polynomial kind of questions, whereas they wouldn't really ask that directly on SHSAT 8. Let's see here. Isn't it in the book Receive? For Dream, no. Dream is for SHSAT 8. So Dream doesn't really go into SHSAT 9. I'm scared. What are you scared for? You already took it. You should be rejoicing. You have Instagram. I just want to ask you what the test is like if you want to answer the Cooks. Was the math harder than the ELA? Don't panic. It's just school. Just be confident. Some people found the ELA harder. I found the math a little harder. Yes, almost everybody I've spoken to or read about is finding the ELA harder. And enough of finding that the math was trivial. But remember, guys, you're all given different forms. You all were not given the same SHSAT test form. So, what was mostly the math, geometry, probability? ELA was like the practice test for me. Okay, so that's good. It was fair. Overall, it was a fair test. Okay. Yeah, that's good for a change, I guess. So, Roboto, the worst part is over. So really, the prize here is that you learned how you're diligent and you can stick with the task and you bettered yourself, right? So you've already won the prize here. If you get into the school too, that's a bonus. Okay, remember the schools don't define you. And you should look at this as a fun and exciting process, not something that's going to continue as a stressful kind of situation. Another person had the same article as me. Yeah, nobody really knows how they process all the different forms. I also heard somebody who had the SHSAT 9 saying they had the same passage they had when they took SHSAT 8. So there wasn't much geometry in mine. Was the ELA grammar or the reading passages that made it hard? Yes, I also understood that the test was structured the same way as well. I was expecting that it'd be more grammar, but apparently there wasn't. Probably in proportions. Okay, that's reasonable because somebody said there was no proportions, um, which proves again everybody got different forms. Every year there's about a dozen different versions, and it sounds like enough of you guys got a lot of the versions. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and like everybody. Smash the like button and subscribe. I'm going to keep doing these, especially for you guys who are going to do SHSAT 9 still. I still have a few more streams coming in the next couple of days. And then I do these throughout the whole year. So, and how did you guys make out in terms of being able to complete it? Most students never get to complete the whole test. So how did you guys do with that kind of a thing? Smash the like button, people. Are you guys all warm and toasty from the fireplace? I had a guess for 3 math questions. Yeah, there's always going to be some that confuse you. I ran out of time. I guess for 5 questions. And the ones you guessed on, were they math or ELAs? Give me 1 second. My system is. I'm not sure if my browser just froze on me or not. Somebody's asking about scores. Okay, let me see here. I think my chat just caught up. Um, where did that go? I just saw it a second ago. I got to wait 14 more days till the test. Yeah, just chill through it though. Relax. You prepped a lot. You've been in a lot of streams. I'm sure you did other books. You got text and other things. So definitely don't stress it. Absolutely don't stress it. What if I get a 21 and a 51? You're pretty much on both extremes. It also depends on what school you're talking about. If you're going to STI, that definitely wants to get you in. If you're going to Latin or Czech, you might be able to squeak in that way. Okay. What about 20 questions? What about what about 20 questions? I'm not getting 20 questions wrong, but I'm just saying I'm not sure what you're saying, Safar. It was the same. You might not get in them on. They said it was like the handbook. It is a 488. Yeah. Let me run it through my calculator. It was what, 21 to 51? Let me see here. I run it through a few different models, so let's see what it says. Uh, 51, 41. Yeah, I get about a 500 depending on which model that's used. It starts at 481. You have a swing of about 40 points. So let's say you're about 490 or whatever. Also, a good tip is not to study the day before because your brain will pop. Yes, that's generally true too. Yeah, everybody like and subscribe, please. Thank you, Penelope. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world if you study the day before, but just, there's a point of no return. Um, if you're cramming, if you didn't start prepping until like the week before, you don't have a choice but to just be in cram mode. But if you methodically studied with purpose for a couple of months, there's really not a strong reason to kill yourself the day before. Especially if you were rehearsing certain things like rehearsing your formulas, making sure you know your perfect squares, and things like that. Then you should be cool. Take mine on Saturday. You probably have to get 30 and a 50 in the 30, 53, 50 to 53. Yeah. And did you guys finish planning out your non-specialized schools? Because those are just important as well. And you should have them lined up because even if you get into tech, science, Latin, you should have another school lined up. And the best thing that can happen is now you have to choose between them. For some of you, going to a specialized high school is really far away. You may not want the hassle. You may have things going on in your life that doesn't really make that conducive to do, right? So you're better off having a choice between the two of them, right? The best of both worlds, if you will. That way you can see what all the alternates might be or not be. I think my browser may just freak out again. I'm not sure if I'm still live, guys. So, um, and did they make you guys open your windows and so on? Was the schools heated properly and all that kind of stuff? Or did you guys feel like you were cold during the test? Yeah, you guys have stuff like Townsend Harris, Beacon, Baccalaureate, Millennium, Eleanor Roosevelt, the Bard in Manhattan, Bard in Queens, Nest plus M, Baruch, Scholars Academy, Columbia Secondary, Manhattan Hunter, which is different than Hunter High School, Hunter College High School, Manhattan Village Academy, Goldstein, Lab, Bedford Academy, Millennium Aviation, Francis Lewis High School, Forest Hills High School, Manhattan Center for Science, Thomas Edison, CSI High School for International Studies. There's some performing arts schools like Frank Sinatra, um, Professional Performing Arts High School, Brooklyn College Academy, Queens Gateway, Midwood, All City, Lazarus, Civic Leadership, Lower East Side Prep, City College Academy, Academy of Finance and Enterprises, the High School of Dual Language and Asian Studies, Bayside, Cardoza, Murrow, the Bronx Science and Math and Bronx Center for Math and Science, the High School for Health Professions and Human Services, Maspeth, Manhattan Bridges, and the NYC Museum School. That's about 50 of some of the top schools that are all pretty reasonable, all have reasonable SAT scores and things like that as well. Barron is harder than the actual real test, I think. You think that book will help me or nah? Which book are you talking about? Let's see here. SHSAT, Barron Test Prep, 6th edition, by whatever. Here's the problem: there's only 3 or 4 real books. That's the whole thing here, and none is perfect. So I just say pick 2 and just go for them. Kaplan seems to have cleaned up their act a bit, so that's the one I'm the most familiar with at the moment. Especially since they were, I guess, working with Dream to, I assume they work with Pearson to bump up the game. So, and then you're not left with too many other books, and many of them have errors in them as well. So, it used to be SHSAT books would borrow from the SAT and all this kind of stuff like that, and it was not really questions conforming to the test. And Barron's and Kaplan and Princeton Review and stuff did that same kind of a thing. But over the recent years, they're getting their questions a little better. They're more appropriate to the SHSAT. So, right. There's also other books though, like a student sent me this year. So I don't think this is one of the Dream books. I'm not sure. SAT Prep. I found the math was kind of easier than what should be expected of you guys, but and the ELA was probably harder. But once in a while there was a good math question. Somebody like me knows that, so I can use this book in future years just to kind of get some good examples out of it. Okay, because even though the math section's easier, once in a while they include a really good math question that really tempts you guys. So yes, and I keep hearing Tutorverse is the best, but I haven't seen their text in a couple of years, so I can't really say to the quality of it. But again, there's only 3 or 4 companies with SHSAT textbooks, so there's really not a choice. So what dream site you go to? Well, it was online this year, so it was only online because of COVID. So I think I forgot 17. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh wait, I forgot. I think 17. All right, I don't know what question you guys are asking. So also, I'm curious, guys, especially this year with remote learning. Do you feel the quality of your instruction went down, and that was not helping your studying for the SHSAT, or did it just seem to be neutral? Like if you went to 5 days in person school, do you think your classes would have been better in terms of making you guys more proficient? Okay, that's good to know. I use other material that's other things. I would normally not have used that book, but the one client was pretty much insisting it be used, so I just went with that. The math is actually harder, I would say. And generally speaking, you want stuff that's at least a little bit harder. So you wanna use material to get you guys to have core stuff and be proficient. Then when you get to the line in the sand, you want to bump it up a little so you're being challenged. So that's a great way to do it, especially on word problems. Like when I start with my students, I use the New York State test because we're just trying to make sure they're on the level playing field with the core information. But otherwise, it's not that. The quality of the instruction is neutral. The classes are good. This is Dream. Yeah, I've spoken to a few kids who've been in Dream over the years. I think Dream used to be not as good as it is now, and but still, most kids are just saying it's neutral. But you do get what 3 textbooks or something out of it. So And that's a lot of material. But I think all the textbooks at Kaplan, there might be one bell curves book thrown in there. You got 4 textbooks, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. So there's enough examples to rehearse and review. Certainly to make sure your fundamentals are there. So, and I don't believe those books are sold commercially otherwise, which is probably a shame. You should be allowed to purchase those, but I don't think that's part of Kaplan's normal offerings. And Kaplan probably gets millions of dollars a year because of that, or some large number. So I'm not sure, why it's not made more widely available. So what do you guys think? How did your current classes prepare you for the SHSAT, especially considering COVID? So first of all, how do you think remote learning helped you guys, right? And then on top of that, remember so far there's a couple of versions of the test every year, and they are going to ask you all these same different topics. The exam is 90 years old or something, and they just rotate the same concepts around, even if the questions are different. So even if he had a lot of proportions or something, your test may have a lot of geometry, and vice versa. So yeah, but what about your middle school classes is what I'm asking. Not Dream. Your regular middle school classes. And as I was asking you guys earlier, was the windows required to be open? Also, was there anything unusual about your packages? You all got just standard booklets. There was nothing unusual because of COVID this year. My browser is ready to explode, I believe. Let me see what's going on here. I think one of my browsers crashed. Let me see what just happened here. No, that seems all right. I'm not sure what's happening here. Actually, I think it's YouTube. I'm getting a spinning thing on my screen, which probably means it's what you guys are getting too. Let me see if we're still live on my phone. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know if it must be YouTube. All right, it's laggy. You know what? It's coming on my phone, but it's not coming on my computer. Let's see. What are you guys saying here then? My math class helped me because we were doing algebra stuff similar to this. Is that cool? The windows weren't open. You said ELA was harder. The ELA was similar to the handbooks. Okay, great. Nothing made sense. Nothing made sense in class or on the SHSAT itself. The math was easy. All right, I'm not sure what's going on here. I have 2 different chats rolling on my screen, and they're not in sync. Oh, I see. My computer chat is really far behind. I wonder why that is. Yes, Paganini, that's exactly the kind of composite description I'm getting from this. In fact, I heard one kid said when he got to question number one, his jaw fell open. He thought it was going to get harder after that, and it got easier. So that's good, Sophia, even if you didn't understand it. Great. Thumbs up. Remember, too, all you guys got different forms as well. There's always an easier form and there's always a harder form and everything in between. So, but it sounds like this year there was more easy forms. Um, that implies the scores are going to go up, but remember that the DOE is in control of the whole thing. The DOE is in control of the scoring. So they can metabolize things across things and it may appear that it's all the same. So the question is, what are they going to do across the forums? Yeah, I hear you, Sophia. I'm not really the practice type of person. Yes, there's different forums with different questions on them. The kid next to you may not be getting the same test, and a kid in a different school may not be getting the same test either. So yes, with different questions, not just mixed up order and stuff. Actually, different questions. They're statistically supposed to be equivalent, but they're not. Some are actually easier than the others. So what they do is they apply a curve across all the tests. That's one reason why you can't get theoretically the top score is 800, but because they average all the scores across all the tests to make them statistically equivalent, then the 800 goes out the window. So that's why the top score is normally about 700. So, or at least possibly 700. All right, I think my browser chat finally caught up. I'm not sure why it did that before, but so be it. I've been tutoring so many kids, I feel like I have nothing to do today now. My brain is still going on math problems. This is to ensure that students would have a hard time discussing it and talking about it. And if you have to cheat up the person next to you, it wouldn't work. That's true too. That's very true as well. And by the way, that's why we're talking general here. I'm not asking you guys to tell me what the problems were and so on. There's somebody on Reddit complaining that we're talking about it, but we're not. The SHSAT existed for 90 years, and there's always been easy and hard tests. There's always math. There's always geometry. There's always proportions. So I don't really know what this person's complaining about. Um, it's a Karen. No, they may not have exactly the same topics. What you're being tested on is all your skills theoretically through a grade 7. We all know it adds more stuff than that on top of it. So it's just all the skills. How they can't possibly put all the skills set down into 57 questions. So I may have gotten 2 exponent questions. You might only get 1 exponent question. You may get 3 geometry questions. I may get 2 geometry questions. So at the end of the day, it's still more or less testing the same stuff, but not exactly the same stuff. So just like when you look in the handbook and you see Form A, And then Form B, they're completely different exams. They're testing different stuff. So some may have had a lot about like theme, and another one has a lot about main idea and stuff like that. One might test your grammar on commas, the other might have something else as well. All right, so all right, let me see here what we got going on here because a bunch of stuff just popped up. Easier than expected. Different tests, same topic, right? Expected to be way harder. Generally believe so. I think the tests were harder than that. Most likely the proportionality in my form. I think the test preps are doing a good job predicting how the test will be like. Yeah. The key is not necessarily focusing on like, will there be 3 exponent questions? The key is just being broad enough that you're covering enough of the topics when you do your prep. There's no way to guess it. It's totally up to the test writers what to do. There's absolutely no way to guess it. So you have to plan for the worst and expect for the best. So yes, Harrison, a lot of people are saying that. A long poem? Usually the poems are not long. And last year, like the wild card was getting 3 poems, but nobody's saying anything like that this year. So remember, guys, too, there's still 4 or 5 more SHSAT days to come. Every day, there's different feedback I get from it. And this is true every single year. Every single year, I get the same kind of feedback. So you think the dream stuff will help me prep, in your honest opinion? Well, I'm not in Dream, so I can't speak directly, but from the little I know about Dream, it should help you. It should definitely help you. Remember, it matters what you guys put into it as well. You can't depend on the teacher for every single last aspect of something like this. A page and a half poem? Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is a lot then. Well, Juju, you don't know for certain, and even if that's true, I hope you had fun and you found the experience like totally rad, because that's part of what this is about too, right? We're putting too much focus on getting into a school here, and in my opinion, that's not what this whole process really should be about. Okay, that sounds maybe like an odd statement, but Dream Grammar didn't help me that much. So far, one of the most important things too is that if you're rigorous in your studying, whether you went to a good middle school or not, if you're rigorous and you're covering enough of the bases and you're studying with purpose, then you'll be fine. Okay, that's really what a lot of this is about. And it's true, you never know. And sometimes your feedback can be upside down. Um, there's kids I know year after year, they come out and say the test was totally easy, and it could be that they blew it. And there's also kids who come out crying, it was so hard, and they get a top score. So you almost never know. You just never know. Yeah, I'll be honest with it, it's hard for me to say that the grammar would be totally inappropriate. Why you guys spamming the chat? Yeah, the cutoff score might end up being higher. It depends. We have to see what the DOE here does. So they could also keep the scores the same. They control the scores. So they can give different weights to different tests and still keep the scores about the same as they were last year. Yes, but Juju, that's just a feeling. Maybe it turns out that it's not true. The only way to know is to finally wait for your scores to come back. I know a lot of people over the years who thought the test was hard. Like I said, they came out of the exam crying, and they turned out to get a top score. So everybody's perception is different, which is what makes the world go around. Did they say the number of questions they are going to leave as field questions? It's always 10. What we don't know is if they decide the field questions before the exam or after it's scored. It's a big mystery exactly, but we know there's 10. Here, I'm gonna pop something in the chat about math topics. Here's some about formulas. Here's some about geometry formulas. All right, Safara, if you look at those, you should have a good idea of what are the topics that you're trying to shoot for in the math section. And those are incomplete. That's not a full list, but it's a lot of them. And it's kind of top level as well. So just look through the list, and if you see something, you're like, oh my God, like it might talk about the slope of a line or something like that. You're like, I didn't know that was going to be on it. Then you can go and look that up. So the geometry one is more focused on SHSAT 9, but those questions can still be on SHSAT 8 as well. So welcome anybody. I see the lobby getting bigger. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe, especially if your SHSAT test is still coming up, because I'm still going to do some more streams with content in it. For the most part, everybody I'm reading some stuff online too, and I've talked to my own private students already. Everybody seems fairly comfortable in what happened today, so that's good. All right, I'm glad they helped. Takes me a lot of time to do them, so I appreciate that you're appreciated. And like I said, a lot of students kind of seem to feel that that the test was fair and that they're comfortable in what happened today. Hello, Anson. Welcome. Did you take the SHSAT today? All right, we got an ad popping up in the fireplace. The Home Depot. Well, it's half and half. People say ELA is hard, others say it is easy, and so for the math. I think kind of consistently enough people are saying that ELA was hard enough, even though some people are saying it was easy. And remember, it's perception. It doesn't have to be the reality. I took it a year ago. Are you in a specialized high school or you chose another one? The poems are always difficult. Yeah, they are. They are. There's an extra level of indirection there, and especially when they get those hair splitting questions. And you're like, what does this possible mean? Yep, the poems are always difficult. They are. It's what most kids cringe over. That's one reason why I did the cover-to-cover review different this year. And past years, I had you guys read it, and I only went over the questions and answers. This year, I actually ripped the passages to shreds. So, yeah, and balance it out more. And if you feel like you're going to ace one section, try to go for it completely, because the points end up being worth more as you break over getting 40 correct. Once you get 40 correct questions, you're going to grok more points per question as you get more of them right. So, Just remember, take each question anew, like it's the beginning of the test. Relax and go through it. If the question you just did was hard, just throw it out of your brain, reset, reset on every passage, reset on every page, reset on every question, reset on every section, so that you're kind of starting the test new for every single question. Just reset yourself, calm down, relax, breathe, and just chill through it. There's going to be hard questions. Everybody knows that. So just pace yourself through it. Notice this crackling coming through, or is it only? And just chill through it. There's going to be hard questions. No, the crackling doesn't come through. So, and remember, as much as this is about math and ELA, it's also about your strategy and your approach and your psychology to how you gonna, creep into each question and so on. It's about your timing. It's about your test taking skills. It's about your rigor. So it's a whole messy ball of wax that just rolls down the hill with you guys tumbling with it. So how's everybody doing out there? There's a bunch of people in the lobby and nobody's saying anything. And smash the like button. Yeah, I'm not sure who's still logged on, but showing at least a dozen people in there. So at least for me it is. I'm just chilling out here. I'm exhausted from tutoring you guys. So I had a bunch of private students and doing the sessions for you guys. So I'm just chilling as well. My brain is jelly. Actually, I still have some students because some of you guys are still taking the exam for the next few days. But the majority of my students took the test today, so. Yeah, just if you haven't gone through my review, cover review, check those out. Go to my main website. Here, I can post the link to that too. I went through the handbook cover to cover. So if you check out this link, especially for this year's handbook, I really ripped the ELA section apart. So not only the grammar, but also all the reading passages. Some of them are pretty long, so there's about 15 hours or 20 hours of content just for the ELA right there. But if you can get through the 20 hours, it goes pretty deep and it's consistent. I ripped every single passage apart so that you can kind of see what's going on there. Because a lot of you are reading the passages, getting to the end of it, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I lost track of what's going on. The passage is too boring to complete. So I'm showing you guys some bookkeeping things to keep track of. Always keep track of main idea, the author's point of view, that kind of thing. So that when you finally get to the end of the passage, you have some concept of what's going on. Also, if you refer back to the questions before you read it, you'll have some idea what you're going to be asked, right? The kind of good thing about the math section is that like you almost always know what it is. Especially sometimes I might say like you have three squared, and what's that equal to? That's about an exponent problem. But when you get a passage thrown at you that's connected to 8 questions, you kind of don't know about that. Okay? Yes, it is, Alex. That's what we're doing here. Hundreds of hours of free tutoring. Are you taking the SHSAT or did take the SHSAT? No problem. How do you feel your Safar, how do you feel your middle school is? Yeah, you just subscribe, Alex. I don't have a set time or whatever that I do it, so just wait for notifications, and if you want to listen to the next live stream, then you do it. February 7th. So you're a grade 9 student? Or you're from a private school? Why are you guys taking it late? No, you're doing grade 9. Well, there's different categories of kids, Juju. Um, there's some kids who registered late, so they get to take it on the 10th. There's also kids who have IEPs and 504s, so they get to take it on a different day. There's also students who are in grade 9 already who are trying to take it to get into grade 10. So they just mix it up that way. I guess because there's too many kids who take it as well. There's like 30,000 kids who take the test, so it's really not taking it late. It's just there's normally like 5 test dates. So some years they let you pick them. Some years they tell you what date you're gonna have. This year they kind of told you what date you have. So and the 10th is also like a makeup date too for kids who can't make their default day. I keep getting a timeout on my browser. How many grade 9 are taking it? Normally like 4,000 I think take it, and there's about 100 spots altogether or something. So I think I aced the math and grammar. So I hope the way the grading works is that up some points for the ALA. Yeah, probably. And that's a strategy as well. You definitely want to try to ace certain sections or subsections. So if you can slam dunk like Rev A or the math multiple choice, then that's definitely to your guys' benefit as well. Yes, Guman. Most people seem to be feeling that same sentiment. So nah, don't look at it that way, Safar. Do I Zoom? Only with my private students. I do private tutoring as well. That I do through Zoom. Actually, I do that through YouTube as well, but it's mostly through Zoom. Most of the live streams I do are on YouTube for the general public. I am currently in 9th grade and I'm taking the test for 10th grade. How should I prepare myself for the ELA section? Um, well, I have a lot of streams here on the ELA. I just posted a link to some of them. So this is SHSAT review. I did a cover-to-cover review of the whole SHSAT. 2 whole SHSAT handbooks, actually. Okay. I also have what I call a starter kit for the ELA, which covers about how to view it. If you're looking at, say, the main idea and topics like that, which is what you want to focus on for it. So let me post links to that. Because a lot of the ELA, even the Rev B section, is about making sure that you understand the author's point of view, making sure that no, I don't do Zoom for public ones, or at least I haven't. I may in the future, but so far I haven't. Is grade 9 and grade 8 the same? No, it's not. Grade 9 is a superset of the grade 8 test. So it has a few more additional topics on it, mostly on coordinate geometry, mostly more about right triangles, stuff like that. It moves more into polynomials a little deeper, simultaneous equations, stuff like that. But about probably 60% of it's the same, or 50% of it. It's hard to actually say what the exact count is. So let me see here for a second. To be honest, 9th grade one's more complex. Yeah, definitely it is. Some people say the ELA section is the same. I honestly don't know. In all the years, I've never been able to conclude that or not. So the English for 10th grade SHSAT is the same as the 8th grade SHSAT. I believe that's correct. I'm not sure why they don't make it more complicated, but apparently they don't. And there's just some different math questions and more complicated ones. So, and we'll see how that works out this year. Um, you know, each day, every year, each day, each testing day, I get different feedback, and it flip flops every year. So, yeah, actually, what time is it? Yeah, I might end this in 5 minutes anyway. So let's see how it goes. I'm just chilling. I'm exhausted, so I'm just chilling out here. Yaz, did you take it yet? Email me if you want. Email me if you want those details. GregsTutoringNYC.com at gmail.com. I can send you a blurb about myself and so on. I am taking it on the 7th. Okay. Email me for pricing stuff and so on. All right, guys, I think we're winding down here. Um, oh yeah, I was curious about that. So for you guys doing SHSAT 9, where exactly are you guys taking the test? Since the SHSAT 8ers took it in the middle schools. Yeah, but in SHSAT 9, they were going to send them to a Department of Education location. And I don't know if that was like an office, I doubt it, or maybe a larger high school. Perhaps one of the original high schools that the test was supposed to be given at. So I'm curious about that. Nearby high school. Oh wow, that's interesting. Actually, if you don't mind saying, what is the high school? I still wonder if it's, oh, Sunset High School. Yeah, I don't think that was the normal part of the normal SHSAT high schools that they were originally telling the students to go through, because I think it was held in uh Millennium. Why am I thinking Millennium? Or Goldstein? Yeah, I think it was originally in Goldstein in Brooklyn, and in Brooklyn Tech as well. Oh, you took it there last year. Okay, so maybe it is one of the official high schools. I can't remember. Or at least get $500 out of it. Yeah, set up a GoFundMe. Okay, guys. I'm gonna bow out. I think it's 7, so we got 3 minutes to chit chat. There you go, Juju. Exactly, exactly. All right, so once again, it's a lot of fun working with you guys. I'm still going to do more streams because some of you guys are still taking the test. I want to do the grade 9 math section. I want to beat on some other parts like problem number 65. So, um, do I have Instagram or Discord? No, I don't. Actually, I do have a Discord, but I don't use it. So I always say I'm going to do it the next year, but I don't do it. Oh, you're asking him. Sorry. Um, I have to set myself up with it though. So. All right, guys, I'm going to peace out. Wish you all guys a good evening. SHSAT dreams. Pleasant SHSAT dreams, whether you took the test or not. See you guys.